The race is called the Preakness. It gets its name from the racehorse named Preakness, who won Pimlico's very first stakes race back in 1870. The prize, the Woodlawn Vase, the most valuable trophy in American sports, and since 1917, the symbol of victory in this race. The tradition that every Preakness winner since 1909, including all 11 of the sport's Triple Crown legends, have had their colors painted on the weather vane atop the cupola in the Preakness Winners' Circle. On this third Saturday in May, the spotlight of the racing world shines on Old Hilltop at Maryland's Pimlico Racecourse, America's second oldest center of thoroughbred racing since 1867. Today, for the 114th time, they run the Preakness, the second jewel of the Triple Crown. Budweiser racing across America. Today, live from Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Preakness Stakes Special. This ESPN sports presentation is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Siemens for leading-edge technology. The name is Siemens. By Crown Central Petroleum, meeting the pace of today's America. Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Relive the legend. And by the Thoroughbred Racing Association, assuring the highest racing standards. Pimlico is a TRA member track. Stay tuned for Preakness Day on ESPN next.
Budweiser and Bud Light are joining USA Today so you can vote for the All-Stars. Pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. Then enter the All-Star Pick-a-Pair Trivia Sweepstakes. Answers appear every day in USA Today, your #1 source for sports coverage. So look for this display and vote.
For the thrill of making the team, for the All-Stars, for the dream. Swinging a shot at the center field, may not be caught. It is.
Before you know it, the summer will be flying past us, and the focus of the racing world will be on the South's reigning racetrack, Louisiana Downs. September 24, the Grade 1 $1 million Super Derby 10 will burst from the gates. The question now is whether you see such a bright future for your 3-year-old. Will a piece of the $1 million pie have your name on it? The time to ensure the chance is now. Early bird nominations close Saturday, May 27 for this mile-and-a-quarter event. Information toll-free, 1-800-551-2361.
Crown Central Petroleum, a major petroleum refiner and marketer with headquarters in Baltimore, is a proud sponsor and supporter of Maryland's thriving thoroughbred industry. Purity and bloodline is vital in thoroughbreds. At Crown Central, purity in the products we manufacture to our own exacting specifications in our own refinery is equally important to us and our customers. Look to Maryland for the finest in thoroughbreds, and look to Crown for the finest in petroleum products at Crown gasoline stations, Fast Fare, and Zippy Mart convenience stores throughout the Southeast.
For more than 4 decades, the Keeneland Thoroughbred Sales have produced a parade of classic winners, including 39 American champions. Horses purchased at Keeneland have won all of the classic races worldwide and the richest prizes in thoroughbred racing. 1988 champions Winning Colors, Risen Star, and Ali Sheba all were bought at the Keeneland Sales in Lexington, Kentucky, source of the classic horse.
Well, from the roses and the cold, rainy weather and muddy racetrack at Louisville on Kentucky Derby Day 2 weeks ago, we've come to a beautiful, sunny, warm afternoon and a fast racetrack in Maryland for the second jewel of racing's 1989 Triple Crown Series, the Preakness Stakes. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln as we welcome you to Old Pimlico, the historic race course of Maryland, where for the 114th time they run the Preakness, and for the first time, our Preakness special on ESPN, leading up to ABC Sports' exclusive coverage of the Preakness Stakes. That's starting at 4:30 Eastern Time. Let's take a look now at our race schedule here on Preakness Day. We'll have live coverage of the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup, a sprint race for you. We'll look back on Friday's record-setting filly race, the Black-Eyed Susan, and then a mile-and-a-half turf race, the Dixie Handicap. Working with us are experts Pete Axum, Bruce Casella, and the voice of the Breeders' Cup. Here is Tom Durkin. Tom, it is the second jewel of the Triple Crown. Yeah, Chris, the Preakness, it's the race that's always after the Kentucky Derby, and for that reason, well, there are the inevitable comparisons and some misconceptions in that context about the Preakness Stakes. First of all, it's shorter than the Kentucky Derby, and some think it less demanding a race than the Kentucky Derby. Well, that simply just isn't the case, for the simple reason that you can bring your horse up to the Derby as fresh as you want him, such as Sunday Silence, who had a month off prior to the Kentucky Derby. They run that grueling mile and a quarter, and then you've got just 13 days before you join the fray once again in the Preakness. So for that reason, I think you need a more durable horse to run in the Preakness than in the Kentucky Derby. And then this business about the speed bias here at Pimlico. Well, that may have been the case a few years ago, but certainly not in the last 10 years. Only 2 front-running types have won the Preakness in its last 10 runnings, and indeed some notorious stretch runners like Ali Sheba, Gate Dancer, Tanks Prospect, they all came from well off the pace to win the Preakness Stakes. We've got some front runners, we've got some stretch runners in the 114th run for the Black-Eyed Susans. Let's take a look at the field. And Hawkster will be breaking from the inside. These are current odds, 50-1. He was a fast-closing 5th in the Derby. Easy Goer, the favorite in the Derby. He lost on the muddy track. He's got a fast track today, and they're making him the favorite. He's 3-5. Pulverizing is one of 2 Preakness entries that did not run in the Kentucky Derby, and the other is Rock Point. Now, Awe-Inspiring would have run had it rained today, but it's a fast track, and he was scratched. Rock Point, the fresh horse, he finished second to Easy Goer in the Wood Memorial. And then it was Dancel who finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby. Houston set most of the pace in the Derby. He got tired once again and wound up 8th. He's got a new jockey today, Pinkai off and Cordero on. And then, of course, the winner of the Derby at 2-1 right now, Pat Valenzuela, back up on Sunday Silence, and rounding out the field is Northern Wolf. He broke from the outside post position in the Derby. He'll be breaking from the outside post position once again in the Preakness this afternoon. And Chris, one thing that the Preakness can have that the Kentucky Derby can never have, and that is the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
And he is standing by right now. Another tradition here at Pimlico, the Kentucky Derby winner is always given stall 40 Stakes Barn E. We're going to go there live right now. Pete Axholm with Sunday Silence. Pete?
Thank you, Chris. Sunday Silence is behind us here, but there's a lot of mystery behind Sunday Silence. I'm here with Dr. Alex Harthill, one of the most celebrated and often controversial veterinarians in the sport. You've been treating him for the hoof problem he's had. Could you tell a little bit about it?
Sunday Silence apparently stepped on a rock or a foreign object, broken piece of harrow blade or a loose shoe from another horse last Saturday, and caused him a great deal of discomfort and lameness, and we've been treating him conventionally ever since then, and he's made a very good reply.
Your conventional treatments are famous, but they produced a lot of classic winners. I did notice this morning, Doctor, that in an unusual step, the stall doors were completely closed. What was the reason for that?
Trying to get away from you guys.
Isn't that unusual to do that on the morning of a race when a horse is used to one routine, to leave him in the dark like that?
Well, he was getting very upset with all the noise and the cameras and the television crews, and they sense what's going on, and it was just self-preservation for him.
I know, of course, we all know Charlie Whittingham, one of the great trainers of all time. But your opinion treating this horse, if this wasn't a classic race, would he be running after this setback?
No reason not to. No reason not to. This is a very common injury, and he was treated with a bar shoe, which is a stabilizing measure. We had our friend Dr. Redden come up from Kentucky and do this procedure on Sunday. There are plenty of good blacksmiths here in Maryland, but it was Mother's Day and Sunday, as I say, and I couldn't find a soul to help me, and we needed some action right then. So I made an impression of his foot, put it on a fax machine, and he made the shoes and chartered a plane and flew up here and helped us out in a real tight spot.
There's a lot of pretty good vets in Maryland, too, but when you're going for a classic race and you're looking for the edge, like I always am, you usually go to this man. Thank you, Dr. Harthill. Back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you, Pete. There you see Sunday Silence's Black-Eyed Susan. It awaits him as it does the other Preakness starters in the infield, where they may have a record crowd on Preakness Day here, more than 80,000. There will be a record handle, they say, more than $7 million will be bet on this 11-race card. You know, the Maryland Jockey Club is the oldest racing institution in this country, dating way back into the 1700s. Well, it's been revitalized, this small state that's had a major impact on thoroughbred racing because of the group of owners here involved with Maryland racing, led by Frank J. DeFrancis. He, along with his partners, Tom and Bobby Manfuso, purchased Laurel Racecourse first back in 1984 for $16 million. Then in 1986, they purchased Pimlico for $31 million. And among the many innovations they've brought to racing in this state and in this country is the Sports Palace. First at Laurel and now just opened here at Pimlico. State-of-the-art technology, allowing patrons to view and bet on races, call up video past performances, and enjoy other televised sporting events from around the nation in a comfortable theater setting. All under the direction of this man, Frank J. DeFrancis. He is the president, chairman of the board of the Maryland Jockey Club. Frank, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on what you've done here for Maryland racing.
Chris, it's my pleasure to be with you.
Let's talk about Maryland racing and not only what's happened in the present, but its future. How do things look in the state?
Oh, I think, you know, we formed a solid base, and all I can see is going upward and onward, even better records, both in attendance and handle. But even more importantly than that, we become part of the quality of life of this state. And the Preakness today, I think, emphasizes that. Everybody's involved in it.
Well, of course, Pimlico, a member of the Thoroughbred Racing Association, so you look at the national picture of racing. What do you see for racing nationally?
Oh, I think racing is going to be one of the most dynamic industries there is in sports going into the 21st century. And I think a very simple statistic tells you that, Chris. In '81, you had 44% of the states having pari-mutuel wagering. As we end the 80s, over 84% of the states are going to have pari-mutuel wagering. So this industry is ready to explode.
Mr. DeFrancis, thank you for joining us. Thank you for what you've done for Maryland racing, and congratulations on it. Looks like a record day at the Preakness.
It is, and the best of luck to you, and thank you for everything that your program and you have done for racing.
Thank you. Frank J. DeFrancis, he is the president, the chairman of the board of the Maryland Jockey Club. And there you see, they're trying to foretell the future. Who's the winner of the Preakness? We'll try to find out for you.
It's time to pig out.
Get ready for the second annual Bryan Magic City Barbecue Cook-Off at Oak Mountain Amphitheater.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola and Budweiser.
Over 40 restaurants, cooking teams, and individuals will be cooking up their best barbecue recipes for over $9,000 in prize money.
Featuring entertainment from America and blood, sweat, and tears.
And for the kids, there's Cousin Cliff, carnival rides, fireworks, and much, much more.
Brought to you in part by these sponsors. Tickets available at the gate.
That's the second annual Bryan Magic City Barbecue Cook-Off, Friday and Saturday, May 26th and 27th.
Don't miss it.
Did you know Pontiac Grand Am is the #1 selling coupe in Central Alabama?
I had no idea.
Did you know Grand Am's base sticker price is over $1,000 less than Honda Accords?
I had no idea.
Did you know you can save even more with 2.9% financing or $1,000 cash back?
That's the idea.
Do you know why Pontiac outsells Honda and Nissan and Toyota?
I've got an idea.
See your Central Alabama Pontiac dealers now.
You're looking at an auto accident that never happened because Liberty Mutual Insurance continually searches to prevent auto accidents and injuries. In helping to pioneer safety belts, we help to make driving safer for everyone. Caring for people is why America believes in liberty.
Almost home.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hit the road, Jack, and if you don't like them, we'll buy them back. We'll buy them back. Hit the road, Jack.
Road Handler Treadlock radials. Test them yourself for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest, best handling performance tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back.
Hit the road, Jack, and if you don't like them, we'll buy them back. We'll buy them back. Hit the road, Jack.
Road Handler Treadlocks at Sears. Tough tires you can trust.
What you say?
Find out how much speed it takes to qualify for the world's oldest and most prestigious auto race. See the Indy 500 time trial today at 5:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Welcome back to Pimlico. There's royalty in the infield here, as there's Miss Karen Tigner, Miss Preakness of 1989, and her court as well. They're adding to some of the beauty here. You know, part of our special features on these Triple Crown preview shows has been Billy Reed. He is the president of the National Turf Riders, special contributor to Sports Illustrated, a columnist for the Lexington Herald-Leader. We've asked him to give us a historic perspective on these Triple Crown events. For the Preakness, Billy Reed takes us back a quarter of a century.
This is the 25th anniversary of a Preakness that was special to everybody in Maryland and everybody in thoroughbred racing. Nobody knew it at the time, but the winner, the little gray horse from Canada, Northern Dancer, was to go on to become the sport's all-time great breeding stallion, a stallion that will have an impact on the game well into the next century. Northern Dancer was owned by industrialist E.P. Taylor and trained by Horacio Luro. As a 3-year-old in 1964, he won the Flamingo, Florida Derby, and Bluegrass on his way to the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. Nevertheless, given his choice between Northern Dancer and the larger Hill Rise, jockey Bill Shoemaker opted for Hill Rise, opening the way for Bill Hartack to ride Northern Dancer. In the Derby, they battled head-to-head down the long Churchill Downs stretch, with Hartack and Northern Dancer finally prevailing by a head. Hill Rise fans swore it would be different in the Preakness, but instead, Northern Dancer won again, this time by 2.5 lengths. In the Belmont Stakes, the Dancer's bid to become racing's 9th Triple Crown winner came up short, when he was able to finish only 3rd behind Quadrangle and Roman Lion. Retired to stud after one more race, a victory in Canada's Queen's Plate, Northern Dancer first stood at Taylor's Farm in Canada, only to be switched to his Maryland operation in 1968. The success of some of his sons in Europe, most notably Nijinsky II and the Minstrel, coincided happily with the arrival in the game of such deep-pocket spenders as English soccer pools baron Robert Sangster and the Arab oil sheiks from Dubai. So fiercely did they covet Northern Dancer blood that they drove the American yearling market out of sight, battling each other for his sons and grandsons. The top was reached in 1985 when a grandson of Northern Dancer by Nijinsky II sold for $13.1 million, still the world record. Only last week, E.P. Taylor, who bred horses for more than 40 years, died at the age of 88. As for Northern Dancer, he's 28 and leading the life of quiet seclusion at the Winfields Farm in Maryland. His last sons and daughters will be available at auction this summer. And that will be the end of an era that began 25 years ago when the little gray horse added his Preakness to the Kentucky Derby.
Thank you, Billy. Tom Durkin joins us now. We're going to talk about our live race coming up a bit later, the 8th race of the afternoon here. It is the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup Special Stakes. And I think of Breeders' Cup, I think of your special day with NBC, but there's much more to that program.
Well, everybody thinks Breeders' Cup Day, $7 million races, 7 championship events. However, that's only part of the Breeders' Cup program. There are the Budweiser Breeders' Cup Special Stakes. There are 51 of these races every year, run at tracks all over the country, 42 of them. And the race here at Pimlico this afternoon, it's a $50,000 purse and $100,000 from the Breeders' Cup. If you're not nominated to the Breeders' Cup, you're running for $50,000. If you are, you're running for $150,000. And at $150,000, it's one of the richest sprint races of the year. It's for 3-year-olds and up. The distance is 6 furlongs. It is a handicap race. Let's take a look at the field. Number 1 is Endless Surprise. He's at 5-1. Mario Pino. This horse has won 17 races, but he's been off for 7 weeks. He's been assigned 117 pounds. Solano, he and Endless Surprise are the only 2 non-Breeders' Cup nominees. Pat Day, he'll be riding Easy Goer a little bit later on this afternoon. Lamancho and Chris Antley. Lamancho just won at Charlestown. He's a well-traveled individual trained by Bill Boniface, the man that brought you Preakness winner Deputed Testimony. Number 4 is King's Nest, perhaps the finest sprinter in Maryland. He's making his 2nd start of the year, coming up to this race off some sensational workouts. He worked the other day in 34-4. And number 5 is Play the King. Kent Desormo's won 5 races here this afternoon. And Play the King was last year's Horse of the Year in Canada and for 2 years running the Dominion's top sprinter. And rounding out the field is Regal Intention, voted the top 3-year-old in Canada last year.
Well, Tom, let's give people a look at some of the sprinters will be in action coming up. Starting with Play the King, and Tom, it takes you back to Breeders' Cup Day at Churchill Downs last fall and the sprint.
Play the King on the far outside on this $1 million 3/4 of a mile. The winner will be Gulch, who emerges from in between horses. Play the King was 50-1 this day. He seems to do his best running from off the pace, as he did on Breeders' Cup Day. He's going to carry 125 pounds under handicap conditions this afternoon. This was his best effort, though, in a while. He's been winless in his last 3 starts this year.
Well, the favorite is King's Nest. We saw him in the Jiffy Lube Maryland Sprint here last fall.
He's a very versatile horse, Chris. He can run on or off the pace. He came from off the pace in this race. Prior to this effort, he won a Grade 3 sprint at Saratoga, beating some pretty good sprinters like Tejano and Parlay Me. Finishing third there on the outside was Celano, the horse in the green silks. He's back in again this afternoon, too.
Well, that's the field on our stars for the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup Special Stake. That's coming up in just a bit. Our main focus of this show, though, to preview the Preakness. And the big horse, the favorite right now, is Easy Goer. Pete Axel was back there with the trainer, Shug McGahee.
Thank you, Chris. There's probably no pressure in sports that could go beyond the pressure of having a horse that goes into the Triple Crown as this heavy a favorite as Easy Goer. How are you handling it, Shug?
Doing okay now because we're not the favorite anymore, but that's what we wanted, you know. I mean, that's there is pressure involved with it, but after you get to the event, it's really not as much pressure just trying to get there without a blemish in your record. So, you know, I hope I've got that opportunity again next year.
Let's rephrase the question. You're 3-5. You think you're not the favorite?
Well, not in the program. I'm going on the program. That's a little surprising to me. I thought that Sunday Silence beat us fair and square in Louisville, and we were the favorite there, and you know, I thought he deserved to be the favorite here. But anytime a horse has a little bit of adversity surrounding him, as he had with the problem with his foot, I think that it kind of you know, makes the people shy away and look for something else. And I'm sure that you know, people are maybe shying away from him and kind of coming my way a little bit, thinking that maybe the fast track will help my horse too.
Not that every horseman wouldn't enjoy the problems you've had the last 2 years with Personal Ensign retiring undefeated and with Easy Goer doing all these sensational things. But I do know that there's a tremendous emotional involvement with Easy Goer. You and your wife, Mary Jane, you go into the Derby. How tough was it to take? What did you do afterwards?
I came back and shook it off a little bit, and I asked Lenzini what happened to his shoe, tried to shake it off. But, you know, we were disappointed, but you got to get used to that kind of stuff. That's part of it. And, you know, we just tried to regroup, and, you know, we had to come here in 2 weeks if everything was right. And so I couldn't be, you know, walking around there with my head down forgetting about the horse. We had to get him back going again and get him here in the best way we could.
Well, watching Easy Goer graze the last 2 mornings, it certainly looks like he and the entire Phipps McGahee outfit have regrouped. Good luck, Shug. Thanks for joining us. Back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you, Pete. Good luck, Shug. There you see the Black-Eyed Susans waiting for the stars to arrive, and there's the brightest star, according to the way the fans are backing him, Easy Goer. And the national and international media, they're all here getting ready to take the big...
The Massachusetts Handicap, New England's legendary race of champions.
Stretch for the money. 3 of them battle. On the inside, not quite. In the middle, toward door.
Join the tradition. Don't miss the 55th running of the $300,000 Massachusetts Handicap, New England's premier thoroughbred race, to be held Saturday, June 24th at Boston's historic Suffolk Downs. Nominations accepted through June 12th.
During the golden age of Rome, Caesar treated his guests to magical evenings. 2,000 years later, he still does. Caesar's Palace. Relive the legend.
It covers 3,000 acres. It includes a 1,200-acre game preserve stocked with trophy, native, and exotic wildlife. More than 1,000 acres of irrigated pastures fed by the Nueces River and Espantosa Creek. Something this big, this unique, could only be offered in Texas. Presenting for sale the Crawford Farms of Carrizo Springs, Emmett County, Texas, 115 miles southwest of San Antonio. For those big enough to dream and plan for Texas parimutuel racing, Crawford Farms is potentially the finest equine breeding and training facility in the world. Included is a 65,000 square foot indoor arena, along with mare and stud barns and 100 stalls. The centerpiece is this luxurious Spanish-style stucco estate that stretches the length of a football field. Crawford Farms offered at $16 million, including all mineral rights, equipment, home furnishings, art, and gun collections. Brokers will be protected. Crawford Farms, for those big enough to dream.
Well, the weather was so rainy, so cold in Kentucky, the ladies couldn't wear their finery. They brought it all to the Preakness today here at Pimlico, and they're all dressed up and enjoying the beautiful weather here. You know, we have in the field of 8, 6 who ran in that Kentucky Derby 2 weeks ago. That's kind of the starting point for our look at this race with the daily racing form. As we go inside the racing form and look at the chart and the past performances now with their executive columnist, here's Mr. Joe Hirsch of the daily racing form.
Well, we've learned, and you can see in the past performances and in the chart, that Sunday Silence is a very genuine horse. His strong finish in the Kentucky Derby is accurately depicted in the past performances. He closed very vigorously, and there was no question that he was a winner at the 8th pole. He just swept to victory. Very impressive race, and he's trained well here, and I expect he's ready to give the same kind of performance. Well, one of the things we didn't learn in the Kentucky Derby, and which will be one of the focal points on Saturday, is Easy Goer's true form on a fast track. One of the things you can spot in the past performances is a spectacular work by Rock Point in New York last weekend. He worked 1 mile in 1:35 2/5. That's an exceptional work. He has a very good record. He was second to Easy Goer in the Wood Memorial. And he's in good hands. He's trained by Sid Waters, who developed the brilliant but ill-fated Hoist the Flag. Look for a good race from Rock Point. He's one of the fresh horses in the Preakness field.
Thank you, Joe. Joe Hirsch, by the way, I tried to pin him down. Who did he like in the Preakness? He said a dead heat. Easy Goer in Sunday Silence. And, of course, we want to thank the Daily Racing Form. It is where everybody starts in terms of handicapping a race. Look inside the form, the charts, past performances. Look at that workout line. Learn how to enjoy this game and how to pick some winners here. Well, of course, we have the top riders here, as you might expect, when you have a top stakes race. So many of these have toiled for so many years, have been very successful. But what makes a jockey a superstar? It is a big race, like winning the Kentucky Derby.
Ever since his winning ride in the Kentucky Derby aboard Sunday Silence, the accolades have been pouring in for jockey Pat Valenzuela. Trainer Charlie Whittingham calls him a great position rider, and he has long had the reputation as one of the country's best jockeys out of the gate. Now 26 years old, Pat Val has come a long way since he took California by storm in 1980, setting a record of 83 wins as an apprentice at Santa Anita. But then he was born to be a rider. Preceded by his father, A.C., his uncle Milo, who won the 1958 Derby in Preakness, and 2 older brothers who rode. Pat literally grew up on the backstretch of racetracks in New Mexico, and he's still well remembered there.
Well, I remember he was a very sharp boy. He was a good gate boy from the time he started. He was just had the instinct to leave the gate, and he's quick away from there, and very heady little rider.
And some of the trainers who first put him up on horses at Sunland Park remember Pat for his ability, but also for his love of pool tables and card games.
Every day, and we really had a good time every day playing those cards. Didn't have much money, but we played for pennies and nickels, but we had a lot of fun.
Well, I remember Pat from a small boy. We had Johnny and Pat working for us. We remember Pat as maybe the best young pool player around the track.
Valenzuela rode his first winner at Sunland Park on November 10, 1978, a 3-year-old filly named Parker Petite for a $1,300 purse. Today, a win in the Preakness would mean over $1 million in purses in just 2 races. He's approaching the top of his profession now, and already has reached heights that some of his fellow New Mexicans admit they couldn't predict.
No, not at all. I sure couldn't. We knew he was a nice person, and you know, he was friendly and got along well with everybody. But as far as being a superstar, we couldn't foresee that.
Patrick Valenzuela, as you're looking at a live shot of Hoxter back there getting ready for his Preakness. And when we come back, we'll take a look at our Budweiser race.
At BIC, we've been studying all the ways that you pull and stretch your face in search of a better shave. Now BIC presents our solution, introducing the new BIC Metal Shaver. The patented BIC Metal stretches and smooths your skin thanks to its unique metal guard bar, so the shaver glides closely and comfortably. Now, instead of stretching, start reaching for a new BIC Metal Shaver. It stretches your skin for a better shave, and that's no stretch.
Me, Stainwood? That's a job for professionals.
Would you try a stain made for amateurs?
Well...
Czar Wood Stain.
Okay.
Other stains are made for professionals, but Czar Wipe-On Stain makes it easy for first-timers to get beautiful results. And Czar's controlled penetration gives you plenty of time to wipe off excess and avoid streaks and lap marks.
It looks great. It's so easy. Even my husband could do it.
And for lasting protection, use Czar Clear Finishes. Buy Czar wherever quality wood finishing products are sold.
Some people don't know it, but they're paying too much in taxes. Take these two, identical in many ways. Similar homes, similar income, similar investments. But one could be paying 28% more tax on his savings and investment income. That's over $200 on every $800 earned. The other called Fidelity Investments toll-free and found out how to invest tax-free in this free fact kit on Fidelity tax-free funds. It shows you how to earn income that's 100% free from federal income taxes. And in some states, your income may be free from state and local taxes, too. And there's no sales charge, which means all your money is working for you. So call for your free fact kit on Fidelity Investments tax-free funds. Call right now and you'll also get this bonus booklet, Understanding Tax-Free Investing. See how Fidelity gives you the facts you need to make up your own mind without pressure.
Hello, Fidelity?
Keep more of what you earn. Call 1-800-336-2100 today and let Fidelity show you how.
Tennis. The French Open. Grand Slam tennis. Starts May 29th. Live on ESPN.
And there's a young lady who thinks she's got the winner in the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup. Oh, they got him fenced in here in the Free State, all part of the wild infield crowd at Preakness Day. We're going to bring you an update on our odds now for the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup, just a couple of minutes away from post time in the 8th race today. Again, the Preakness Stakes is the 10th race. Here are the odds. Endless Surprise at 9-2, Solano at 4-1, La Macho at 21-1, King's Nest at 7-5. The favorite here, a winner of the Maryland Jiffy Lube Sprint Race, Play the King at 5-2, Regal Intention at 6-1. Before they get to the starting gate, though, we're going to go down and get a final thought from Pete Axhelm on this race and on this racetrack. Pete, have had some fast times here in the last few days.
Yes, Chris, I happen to like Play the King in this race, but what I'm really looking at is the time of the race. This track appears to be a very bouncy, good surface. It's been resurfaced with limestone. Trainers are very high on it. I've heard nothing but good comments by the Preakness trainers about it. And, of course, if it is good, that benefits particularly Easy Goer, who hated the slop at Churchill Downs, and Houston, who will be winging on the lead. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Pete, you mentioned some of the times here. It was just a week ago Saturday. They ran the Pimlico Special in 1:53.1 at the Preakness distance, a mile and 3/16, breaking the track record set some years ago, 1985, by Tank's Prospect, and perhaps forever knocking out all the controversy over Secretariat's hand time of 1:53.2. Then yesterday in the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes, they set a track record here for a mile and 1/8. So yes, it has been some fast times recorded here at Old Pimlico. Let's now go to the man who'll call the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup race for us for his thoughts as they get ready to load the sprinters. Here is Tom Durkin.
Well, they are loading up 6 furlongs here at Old Hilltop. The track record, by the way, for this distance is almost 20 years old. It was set by Francis Flower way back in 1970, and the time was 1:09.1. They're loading up there. There goes Solano. Pat Day aboard. He's trained by Dale Capuano, an emerging training star here in Maryland. Lamachu with Chris Antley up. There goes King's Nest. He really looked good warming up. Very sleek individual, well balanced, well put together. And here is Play the King, the second choice now in the wagering at 5-2. And one more to go is Regal Intention. And now we're ready to go for the start of the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup. They're in the gate. And they're off. Regal Intention broke in good order on the outside. Endless Surprise was off a step slow. And there goes Lamacho now from the inside to grab a short lead. And King's Nest, he's right there moving with him easily, stride for stride. Regal Intention has asked for a run on the outside, and Endless Surprise now is making up ground toward the rail, but he's in a bit tight and is steadied now. And Play the King is up close. He's only 3 lengths off the lead, and Solano is now content to trail the field as they head for the far turn. Lamacho leads the way. King's Nest is pressing him all the way. Regal Intention on the outside. The first quarter went in 22 3/5 seconds. Endless Surprise is trying to keep up with the leaders. Play the King has now asked for more run, but he's gaining on ground. He's still 3.5 lengths off the lead, and Solano will be fanned 5 wide now as the field turns for home. King's Nest has emerged with a short lead. Now Lamacho is driving up on the inside. Regal Intention, Play the King. Solano is closing stoutly on the far outside. They're coming down to the final furlong there. It's King's Nest holding on to a short lead. Solano, Play the King. Regal Intention now bursting through in between horses. What a finish. King's Nest, Regal Intention, Solano on the outside. Play the King, but King's Nest has something left, and he sprints away from them again as they come down to the finish. A super effort here, and the time was 1:09 3, very close to the track record. Oh, and an accident. After they came across the finish wire, Play the King went down on the track. Play the King went down on the track. Then the jockey, Kent DeSormo, who won 5 races earlier this afternoon, he did get right up. He's a bit shaken, but he looks like he'll be okay. An accident following the finish here in this race. Again, number 4, King's Nest was first. We've got a photo for place.
Thank you, Tom. It was 2/5 of a second off the track record. As you take a look at number 4, King's Nest. We mentioned we saw him last fall at Laurel Race Course. He was first in the Jiffy Lube Sprint on Maryland Million Day. And he's come back as the favorite to win here today. Joe Rocco, the rider, will be back to wrap our Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup when we return.
Another Breeders' Cup championship moment. Hollywood Park was the stage for an epic battle between Kentucky Derby champions Ferdinand and Ali Sheba in the world's richest race, the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. And the champions would battle it out to the wire.
Ferdinand, Judge Angelucci on the outside, Ali Sheba. Ferdinand has the lead. Ali Sheba, a final surge. The 2 Derby winners hit the wire together.
Ferdinand's classic win was his Breeders' Cup championship moment.
For hanging tough, for holding on when the going's rough, for taking charge, for taking pride, for staying true to what's inside, for the fire inside of you, for stepping up, for coming through this buzz with you. For the smile that's part of you, that extra mile, for coming through this buzz for you.
Coming through for you. Beechwood Age, for the taste so crisp, so clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
For coming through this buzz for you. This buzz for you.
A dream is born. And with care and attention, discipline and freedom, the dream begins to come alive. Share the dream. Let thoroughbred racing come alive for you.
Well, one of the tragedies of the racetrack, you see the horse ambulance there, and there is the Canadian Horse of the Year, 2-time sprint champion, Play the King. Looked like he broke down in the right front right after he crossed the finish line, throwing Kent DeSormo. DeSormo got up fine. Play the King being put into the ambulance now. There is the winner, King's Nest. Number 4, ridden by Joe Rocco, 1:09 3, 2/5 off the 6-furlong track record. As we'll take a look now with Tom Durkin at a replay of the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup.
He was pressing some fast fractions all the way. King's Nest to emerge at the top of the stretch with the lead and play the King, who was fanned 4 wide. Outside him was Solano. As they were set down for the drive, King's Nest has come away with the lead. LaMancha was right up there to his inside. He ran a good race this afternoon. And Regal Intention kicking in. Looked like they were all going to catch up to King's Nest here as they came down to the final furlong. But then Joe Rocco goes to a rapid fire left hand. And King's Nest is going to respond. He's going to find something else in those final 110 yards. And we had a blanket finish across the track for second money. Solano did get up for second, and finishing third was number 6, Regal Intention. Good effort here by King's Nest, again shading the track record.
And he's by Maryland's Sire of the Year, rollicking out of the dam empty nest, owned by Sandra Bender, trained by Lawrence Murray, and ridden, as he said so vigorously, by Joe Rocco. It's official here, and it's one of the great things they do in Maryland, a quick official, something I hope catches on around the nation. King's Nest, as you see, 463 and 260. Solano was second. Regal Intention finishing third. Again, Play the King, the Canadian champion, breaking down and has now been taken off of the racetrack. We'll be back with more on our Preakness special from Pimlico.
$100,000. $100,000. It's the Pick 9 Gold Mine at the Birmingham Racecourse. Bet $1. Pick the winners of all 9 races any night and win $100,000 in cash. Plus, register to win a 1989 Mustang from Eastwood Ford to be given away Memorial Day. Admission $1 and parking $1. Post times are Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. and 1 p.m. Saturday matinees. Win $100,000 in the Pick 9 Gold Mine. Only at the Birmingham Racecourse. Excitement, you can bet on it.
Hi, I'm Bob Tucker for Sarah Chevrolet. We invite you to visit us for all your automotive needs. We have Birmingham's largest discount price Chevrolet inventory, plus 225 people to serve you on this 1989 sport side Chevrolet truck equipped like this and more. The General Motors price is $15,344. At Sarah Chevrolet, you pay only $12,788. So visit us today at Sarah Chevrolet on Centerpoint Parkway, where you always save more money.
The best-dressed people in business are all wearing the same thing. Cambridge business wear from Meade. As important to the way you look as the clothes you wear.
Here's some news the Noid won't like. Domino's Pan Pizza. Oven-fresh pan pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less. Guaranteed. Sorry, Noid. Call for Domino's Pan Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
You're looking at an accident that never happened. Because as America's largest insurer for workers' compensation, Liberty Mutual has done more to help prevent injuries on the job than any other insurance company. Caring for people is why America believes in liberty.
Great view, huh? America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The festive atmosphere of Preakness Day at Pimlico as they're sketching a lovely lady in the infield here. And you have a great setup here for those fans who want to go to and from the infield and the celebrity and corporate tent area there. And then, of course, the great infield throng as well here on Preakness Day. It has been a festive week and a week of great racing here at Old Hilltop. Bruce Casella, my colleague on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, has been following the races this week. Here's his recap of the earlier activity.
Chris, Old Hilltop was elevated to its pinnacle this past week, and it all began last Saturday when Blushing John won the $700,000 Pimlico Special. Then on Thursday, Bill Shoemaker made headlines here. In a race billed as his last ever here at Pimlico, the two-time Preakness winner said goodbye to his racing fans here in Baltimore by bringing home a victory.
Well, it's great to be able to win your last race at any racetrack, and I'm happy that I was able to do it, and I'm happy the fans were happy.
Yesterday, more history was renewed as Pimlico's oldest stakes race, the Dixie Handicap, dating back to 1870, was run. The favorite in the field of 12 was Coeur de Leon.
An eighth of a mile to go. Coeur de Leon. Dance Cartfield on the outside and Dynaformer. Coeur de Leon gets the lead. Here comes Dance Cartfield wearing him down stride for stride. And now Dance Cartfield gets the lead on the inside. Coeur de Leon. Dance Cartfield gonna get there. Dance Cartfield and Coeur de Leon nose and nose. Coeur de Leon came back to win it.
It's Coeur de Leon who proves the strongest, winning by a head over Dance Cartfield and Dynaformer. Coeur de Leon is a 5-year-old by Crystal Palace out of Marie des Solomés and is trained by Tom Skiffington. 2 races later, a big race for the 3-year-old fillies, the Black-Eyed Susan. The favorite is Imaginary Lady.
An 1/8 of a mile to run. The 2 D. Wayne Lucas fillies are clear. It's Imaginary Lady out in front by 3. And this huge, strapping daughter of Martha, Imaginary Lady, has taken the Black-Eyed Susan wire to wire to win it impressively.
And what a performance by Imaginary Lady with Gary Stevens as she breaks the 11-year-old track record by a 1/5 of a second in 1:48.1. Second was stablemate Some Romance. Moonlight Martini ran 3rd. Imaginary Lady is by Marfa out of Dream Harder and is trained by D. Wayne Lucas.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, we know that a lot of people, especially on the West Coast, fans of Charlie Whittingham and Sunday Silence, are cheering for their colt. Pete Axhelm is back in the barn right now live with the master, Charlie Whittingham.
Thank you, Chris. Of course, Sunday Silence is the big news story today and all week. Having had the setback with his hoof and the shoeing changes and so forth, Charlie, I can't help asking you, one of the hallmarks that has made you a Hall of Famer is you are known for your patience, for developing horses through the years, 4 and 5 and 6 years old. Is this unusual? Are you rushing this horse?
No, not really. He's only run 7 times, and he didn't run only late in his 2-year-old years, so I wouldn't call that rushing him.
What about the missing a couple of days like this? Can you make any parallel with, why you would be confident that he's going to run well today?
Well, I wouldn't think 2 days of missing training would hurt him a bit. And if it did, he wasn't in very good shape to start with. That horse was fit when he come from Kentucky. He could have run all the way back to Kentucky if he has to.
That's for sure. The final question, I asked Dr. Harthill, but I want to rephrase it to you. It looked unusual, having been around your barns over the years, to have the stall doors entirely closed this morning. The reason?
Well, there was so many people kept coming up there, and they get the horse running back and forth in there, and so we just closed the doors on him for a little while. There was more people here in the races this afternoon.
Fair to say you're still confident?
Yeah, I'm very confident. The horses' races have all been good, and if you look at his record, it's as good as anyone's in there or better. And he still won the Derby, and the rest of them were behind him, so the same ones outside of one that come from New York we're running with.
Thank you very much for stopping by, Charlie. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Pete. The great Charlie Whittingham. He's won 2 Kentucky Derbies, 2 of the last 4. He has never won a Preakness. And by the way, if Sunday Silence doesn't win today, it'll mean there'll be no Triple Crown horse in the decade of the 1980s. Some singers in the infield.
Find a personality with your life.
Budweiser and Bud Light are joining USA Today so you can vote for the All-Stars. Pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. Then enter the All-Star Pick-a-Pair Trivia Sweepstakes. Answers appear every day in USA Today, your #1 source for sports coverage. So look for this display and vote.
If you've worked hard for what you have, you understand how we feel.
I'm driving this time.
No, I am. We've reached the point where we can be comfortable and enjoy life.
But you took it yesterday.
But you had it all last week. That's why we chose the comfort of a Ford compact diesel tractor.
You mean that's why I chose the comfort of a Ford? Besides, I have the key.
See the complete line of comfortable ones at your Ford New Holland dealer.
Crown Central Petroleum, a major petroleum refiner and marketer with headquarters in Baltimore, is a proud sponsor and supporter of Maryland's thriving thoroughbred industry. Purity and bloodline is vital in thoroughbreds. At Crown Central, purity in the products we manufacture to our own exacting specifications in our own refinery is equally important to us and our customers. Look to Maryland for the finest in thoroughbreds, and look to Crown for the finest in petroleum products at Crown gasoline stations, Fast Fare, and Zippy Mart convenience stores throughout the Southeast.
This is precious cargo, telecommunications equipment on its way to Japan. On another day, it might be medical systems headed for Europe. We design and build that equipment. We're Siemens USA. 28,000 people, 47 manufacturing plants, over $3 billion in sales and service of electronic and electrical equipment. And each year, 15% of that is worldwide exports from America. We are Siemens USA.
We're back live at Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore for the Preakness. Girl watching is outstanding today, unlike the Kentucky Derby when it was 43 degrees 2 weeks ago in Louisville. That's a bachelor's point of view. Let's take a look at the updated odds here for the running of the second jewel of the Triple Crown. There's about $700,000 in the pool right now. Hawkster still 50-1. Easy Goer still odds on. There's about $2 million more to be bet. That could change. I would think he might creep up to 4 to 5, maybe even money. Pulverizing a big price, of course, at 55-1. Awe-Inspiring was, of course, scratched. He was Easy Goer's stablemate, would run only in case it rained today. Rock Point, the fresh horse, maybe a bit of an overlay there, 25-1. He was only 3 lengths off Easy Goer in the Wood Memorial. Danzel, the Arkansas Derby winner, at 20-1. Houston at 5-1. He figures to be up close early. And Sunday Silence at 5-2. He was 2-1 earlier today. And the Kentucky Derby winner is at 5-2 now. He was 3-1 on Derby Day, and Northern Wolf will be a long price. Well, back in 1973, there was a big favorite here at Pimlico. His name, of course, was Secretariat. And for good reason. He was a 2-year-old the year before, and he was named Horse of the Year. And he had run the fastest Kentucky Derby in its 99 years. He was an authentic media superstar. He was on the cover of national news magazines, and he was the talk of the country in the spring of 1973. And a huge crowd, a record crowd then, turned out at Pimlico Racecourse just to get a glimpse of Big Red of Meadow Stable. As part of our ongoing Preakness coverage, we bring you the third part in our retrospective series on the great Secretariat.
Old Hilltop, Pimlico Racecourse, Baltimore, Maryland. May 19th, 1973, Preakness Day. The pressure was turned up on Secretariat's connection because it was at this site the year before that Meadow Stable's Riva Ridge lost his chance for the 1972 Triple Crown. Front-running winner of the Derby and the Belmont, Riva Ridge couldn't handle the sloppy track that day in the Preakness, finished a well-beaten 4th as the strong 1-5 favorite. As Secretariat, also the 1-5 fans' choice, was being dressed for the occasion in the Pimlico infield, he was forming his own race strategy that caught everyone by surprise, including owner Penny Tweedy.
As they came past the stands the first time, he was with horses. He wasn't way back. And suddenly he made a leap forward all on his own, as if, hey, I'm ready to go. And he just took off. And Ronnie hadn't asked him. It was not when we planned that he was going to move. He just decided to do it. And that just, I thought, okay, we've got this one.
But here comes Secretariat. He's moving fast, and he's going to the outside. He's going for the lead, and it's right now he's looking for it. Secretariat by 2 lengths. Sham driving second. There's a strong left-handed whip again by Tinkai. He goes to it time and time again, but Ronnie Turcotte has his whip put away, and Secretariat has him put away. He's beginning to draw away. It is Secretariat. He's coming to the wire. He wins it by 2.5, almost 3. The victory wasn't in question, just the time. The track teletimer said 1:55, a full second off the track record. But the Daily Racing Forum's chief clockers, from different vantage points, hand-timed the winner in 1:53.2. As Secretariat came into the winner's circle, word was spreading about the time discrepancy. It was a controversy that led to a special hearing before the Maryland Racing Commission, where CBS television showed an identical frame-by-frame match of that 1973 Preakness and of track record holder Canonero II's 1971 race. The results, Secretariat was almost 2 lengths faster than the old 1:54 record time. But despite the overwhelming proof, the Maryland Commission stuck with the time of 1:55. But the Racing Forum, on its official chart of that 1973 Preakness, for all time, noted its disagreement, adding their own footnote. Daily Racing Form time, 1:53 2/5, new track record. As jockey Ron Turcotte was galloping Secretariat back after the Preakness, his thoughts were not of time, but of a Triple Crown.
I never asked him to run at all and still win by 2 or 3 lengths, and I was thinking Belmont. all the time. I'm coming down the lane, I'm saying, don't use them up too much. Got another one to go.
I'm back at the stable area with Wayne Lucas, and you are now looking at least half of the remaining fan club of Houston. Wayne, we all know if it's a beauty contest, we're in great shape. But is there a reason that we should have this blind faith?
I don't know. I think we got a good horse, and we're going to get bragging rights if we win. We'll probably be a company of two, Pete, but I'm glad you're with me. I hate to go over there alone. I think we got a good horse, and we're going to have a great race.
Preakness memories, Codex and Genuine Risk. You had to go through a hearing. People described it as a mugging and so forth and so on. Now, of course, you reunited with Angel Cordero at the Preakness. What is your recollection, briefly, of what went on when Codex won the Preakness for you?
Well, you know, when you win your first classic, and that was mine in 1980, I thought that the whole world would embrace us, and so I was excited. And afterwards, of course, you know, the turmoil all started. And the morning afterwards, I came in here to the barn area, and the guy said, you got a bag of telegrams, a huge bag. And I thought, oh, great. So I sat down in the tack room, and I started opening them. I thought it was fan mail saying, great job, you know, we're with you, on to the Belmont and everything. And it was running about 100 to 1 that we had mugged the filly and that we should give up racing. So it was quite an experience. We had to win it. It took 3 weeks to win it, but it was fun.
How could today be fun? Is Houston going wire to wire?
I don't think we have to. I don't know what the other guys are going to do. So I'm going to let Cordero run his own race. And you and I both know nobody knows what Cordero's going to do. I'm going to ask him to use a little judgment, to wind his clock when he gets out. And hopefully he'll be all together today, so to speak. But I don't think we have to have the pace. And I think our horse will relax well. If, in fact, we get it, we'll try to make the most of it.
Okay, thanks for stopping by, Wayne, and good luck. And we all know Angel, when he turns for home, if he's in front, he'll choose his path. Nobody has a choice. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks.
I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
Well, if you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because everything else is just a light.
We can live with that. Yeah.
Hull & Smith Horse Fans, a service for horsemen by horsemen. For over 2 decades, the people of Hull & Smith have set the standards in the business of transporting horses. Gene and Judy Hull head up a staff of full-time experienced professionals. We provide expert personal handling, superb accommodations, and the finest in safe, modern equipment. We ship your horses anytime, anywhere, safely and dependably. At Hull & Smith, it's our tradition and our commitment.
In the splendor of his palace, Caesar treated his guests to spectacular battles between champion gladiators. 2,000 years later, he still does. Caesar's Palace. Relive the legend.
The Baltimore Ramada Hotel and Conference Center, Maryland's finest, welcomes you home. You'll find over 200 newly redecorated rooms, each with a balcony accent, an Olympic-sized pool, and a courteous staff that lets you know we're glad you're here. The perfect place to meet, Baltimore's choice for business and pleasure. For dining, Gatwick's restaurant serving the best food any time of day. For evening, try our complimentary buffet at Gatwick's Lounge. Just 12 minutes from the Inner Harbor, the Baltimore Ramada Hotel and Conference Center.
Some of the corporate tents in the infield here on Preakness Day. And one of the big corporate sponsors, Anheuser-Busch. And, of course, they have the Clydesdales here today. And we have a Budweiser long shot for them in the Preakness Stakes. Everybody's talking about Easy Goers, Sunday Silence. Well, our Budweiser long shot right there is the number 5 horse, Rock Point. Had a great 1-mile work in 1:35 and 2 in New York earlier. He's a fresh horse. And everybody thinks back to Aloma's Ruler, 1982. Joe Hirsch, the Daily Racing Form, also talked about him being a fresh horse. That could be important in this race today. Let's go to Pete Axum I guess we know what his Preakness pick is. Pete, tell us about Houston.
Chris, when you're in love, you don't give up on it for nothing. I'm staying with Houston one more time. Back to you.
All right, and Tom Durkin, we got to get a quick pick for you as you take a look at our next telecast, the Jersey Derby Met Mile Memorial Day. Tom, who do you like in the Preakness?
Well, I like Easy Goer. I think we're going to get even. I thought he was a superstar going into the Derby. Muddy track, I think he's going to prove himself a superstar today.
Well, Lawrence Jones is the painter here. He paints the famous weather vane over the cupola in the infield. Right now, it has, of course, Risen Stars colors. Black, you see a red cap. You might just need one brush and paint over the stars if Easy Goer wins the Preakness today. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage, the Preakness Special on ESPN. Brought to you this afternoon from Pimlico by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Maryland's own Crown Central Petroleum, meeting the pace of today's America. Three Chimneys, the idea is excellence. By Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, relive the legend. And by the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship.